Yeah, when we think about everyday life in LA, one thing that I didn't realize about myself is, until now living here, is
Yeah.
LA is very spread out. Okay.
Sure.
And I think people might be interested when they learn that there is public transportation in LA, but it's challenging because it's so spread out that I've had friends who have had to drive to a location to park their car, whether it's a shared ride or whatnot, and then take public transportation somewhere else. And then
Yeah.
here they got to get back in your car, and then the highways are very congested. And so everyday life, when I think about LA, the first thing that comes to mind is traffic. And it's not trivial, because if it takes me over an hour to get to one place and then over an hour to get back, and that's kind of the daily routine, that's a challenge. The second thing I'll mention is we have young kids, and especially during weekends, kind of shuttling young kids around is something that in some cases can consume weekends. Something that we have here that I'm still marveled by is, kids can take car bookings like Grab on their own, and it's super safe, right? And I think when my friends in LA hear about that, part of them, they're in awe, and they're really wishing they could do that, and part of them, they're just super surprised, right? I think traffic, people plan their lives around traffic in LA.
Yeah.
And I'll say, when I first moved to Singapore, I was about 45 minutes early to every meeting I had, because it's in my DNA. It's in my DNA to budget at least an hour for every meeting I have to go to. So I've had times where I show up to a meeting and it's more than 45 minutes early. There was one incident where my meeting was running late, and I'm like, you know what, for the first time, I'm gonna be late to a meeting here in Singapore. I happened to book a Grab, and just like I had about 15 minutes to get to my next meeting way off site, I book a Grab that happens to be at the place I'm at already. So I run downstairs, I still ended up about 7 minutes early to the next meeting. And so living in LA, I think we revolve around traffic. And I think when our kids get older and we want to really spend more time with them, when you're losing hours a day to traffic, whether it's work, whether it's family, it takes a toll.
Yeah, it's also help for your social life. It's like you don't think twice if you're invited for some event. It's like I used to live in the big cities. I used to live in Moscow for a few years. And then it's like Friday night, let's say, like someone is inviting you like unexpectedly to like somewhere, the different end of the town. And then it's like, okay, I need to go change back home. And it's like, okay, hour and a half. Then another like hour and a half to the place. And it's like, should I go? In Singapore, it's not like that. Yeah, of course, I go.
You actually just raised a really important point. When I was in LA, I remember some of our dinners would be in downtown LA, because downtown LA at one point really was becoming a hot spot for new and hip restaurants. But going at the wrong time, it's an hour and a half, right? And we've had Uber drivers kind of, because I think at the time they couldn't screen the rides. And so we get in the car and they're like, oh my gosh, we have to go to downtown LA. And it was an hour and a half. And that matters because this was when our children were younger. And so we had to get babysitters, right? And then kind of planning around the uncertainties of traffic. Sometimes we were afraid that we didn't want to overstay a social outing, and then the babysitter would have to stay behind. So sometimes we would get home too early, right? Because we thought traffic would be so bad coming home. So traffic really does kind of govern our planning of our schedules and getting to places, and in some cases, deciding even if we want to go in the first place.
Yeah.